In this section, they're going to ask you to find the equation of the line. And once you hear that, what you need to use is this equation, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Anytime you hear the question, find the equation of the line, we're going to use that. To use this one, you need two things have to be given to you. The two things, you should have one point, and that point will give you actually x1 and y1. And the other thing should be given to you, or somehow can be found, as the slope, which will give you m. So you need the slope and the point. Slope and 1 point. Guess what the name of this format called? The point slope form. What is it? No, the circle's coming next. That's the point slope form. That's the name for it. On the test, sometimes they'll ask you to put your answer in the point slope form, which means leave it like this, don't simplify it. Now, in case you're wondering where this equation came from, suddenly we just dropped that equation at you. Watch where it came from. Here's the math behind it again. Remember the equation for the slope? Which is what? y2 minus y sub 1 over x2 minus x sub 1. That's the slope. What about if I decide to write this y minus y sub 1 instead of y sub 2 and x minus x sub 1? Now try to solve it. This is over 1. How do you solve a problem like this? Cross multiply. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times what? X minus x sub 1. So it might look like a new equation to you, but it's really the slope equation. Instead of y2 minus y1, we decide to call them y minus y sub 1. Instead of x2 minus x1, x minus x1. So let's take some problems, some examples, and go through them and see. Find the equation of the line. Of the line that passes through negative 4 and 1 with a slope equals negative 1/2. Now, if I go and graph it, which we don't care about if you graph it or not, but just to show you what that graph looks like, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and 1. It passes through that point. That's 1 point. The slope is what? Negative 1/2. What's the definition of a slope? Delta y over what? Delta x equals minus 1 over 2. That means if you increase x by, because that's a plus. If you increase x by 2 units, you're going to drop the y value by what? 1. That's your second point. So the line will look like this. It's coming down. I increase x by 2 units, drop the y value by 1. You go, well, wait a minute, what about if you put the minus sign in the bottom? I said, go ahead. What does that mean? If you put on the bottom. If you decrease the y value by 2, that means you go backward 2. You got to increase, if you decrease the x value by 2, you got to increase the y value by 1. Put you right there. Yep. Yep, same thing. We don't care about the graph, if you graph it or not. That's not the issue. But now what we're looking for, what is the name of this line? It must have a name. Is it y equals 3x plus 7? Is it y equals minus 5x plus 4? What's the name of it? And that's what we're looking for. Find the equation of the line. Find the name of it. So I'm going to use y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. We said to use that, you need to have a slope and a point. We have a slope and we have a point. The point gives you x1 and y sub 1. The slope is this one. That's your m. So plug them in. Y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x minus a minus 4, that makes it a plus 4. Y minus 1, what's minus 1/2 times x? What's minus a half times a 4? Minus 2, right? Now, if the problem says leave it in the slope point or point slope form, you stop right here. That's the point slope form. You don't simplify it. If it's a point slope, you're done right here. Yep, you leave it the way it is. Now, if you solve this, how do you solve this? Add 1. Y equals what? Negative 1/2 x minus 1. If you look at this, go back to algebra. What is your slope here? Negative 1/2. That's this number. What's the y-intercept?
Negative 1.
That's why this form is called the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form, that means solve it for y.
You missed the T on intercept at the bottom.
And, oh, intercept. Oh, yeah. The slope-intercept form. So we have to know this terminology because they'll ask you to leave the answer in the slope-intercept form. They'll ask you to leave the answer in the point-slope form. Sometimes when you have fractions, I'll even give you another form. When you have fraction like these, and that goes back to when we were typing books the old-fashioned way on old typewriters. It was difficult to write the minus, the 1/2 fraction. I told you before. You gotta, on a piece of paper, you write the 1, then you move it up a little bit, go dot, 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 dot. If you ever use a typewriter, then you go tap, 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 tap till you get below that. You put the 2, then tap, you turn the paper up, and you write the 1/2. That became too complicated. So we came up with another form. I said, why even write it like this? We can make it faster. If we multiply everything by 2 here, right? You'll have what? 2y equals minus x minus 2. Now move everything to one side, and we like x first. You have x plus 2y minus 2 is equal to 0. That's a lot easier to type. I don't have to move the paper up and down. That's called the general form. It's ax plus by plus c is equal to 0.
Plus 2 though.
Yep. Oh no. Oh yeah, plus 2. Thank you. Yep. Yep. Move it this side. So that became really popular years ago, this format, because this way that means I can just keep typing. I don't have to move up and down. I don't have to move the paper. So anytime we had a fraction for an answer, we always switch the answer to general form. I'm not sure if our book talks about all these forms, but I know the software sometimes requests the answer in a certain, yep, there's a slope-intercept form. And what do you know? The general form, ax plus by plus c equals 0. Can you see that here? The slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. The point-slope form. So they do talk about them.
Don't the Microsoft Word or Excel as an equation right
Yes.
these days?
Yes. But you still have to go to the equation, type that in, click on a fraction, put the top, put the bottom. Still slows you down. If you're writing a book and a lot of equations, you're spending all your time doing that. So there's two ways to do it. You can hire a work study and have them do all the typing for you. Make sure you type that for me. That's actually what they do. Most professors, when they write a book, they have a TA, and that's what the TA does all day long. Just type the stuff for them. Yep, then they do a solution for them, it's done.
Must be nice.
We do it here too. When I have a lot of stuff to type, I got a work study, poor guy. Ali, come on, type this for me. I don't want to type it.
I know.
Yep. Now let's try another one. Now what will happen sometimes is the book is not that nice to you. What do I mean by that? To find the equation of the line, you need 1 point in the slope. Well, every once in a while they decide to be mean. They don't give you something. That means you got to fish for it. Like this example. Find the equation of the line.
And the slope is-
That passes through, I'm just eliminating some of the words, I'm getting lazy, through 2 and minus 1 and 6 and 2. Again, when I see find the equation of the line, I'm leaving a space intentionally here. I'm going to think about this. That's what I have to think about. But
No slope.
in case I'm going crazy today, I had 6 classes, I ate 6 candy bars today. So my sugar level is probably at 2040. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm like,
It's
wow.
off the
Yeah.
charts.
That's
Off the end
it.
of the scale.
I have to calm down, go to Uno, have some wings and a drink tonight so I can go to bed probably.
What restaurant is that?
Pizza Uno,
Oh,
50-cent wings. It's a game tonight. I don't even care who's playing.
How about
I don't-
Buffalo, how
You
about
just go-
Buffalo Wild Wings? You want to go there?
Too far. It's on my way home.
you just go for the wing.
Yep. Okay, 2 and minus 1 and 6 and 2. There's no slope. To use this, I need a slope. They didn't give me the slope.
So it's fine.
Not nice to me. Yep. You can find the slope first by using y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. This is your x sub 1, this is your y sub 1, this is your x sub 2, this is your y sub 2. Two minus a minus a 1, plus 1. 6 minus 2. 3 over 4, right? That's my slope. Marta, be quiet. Y minus, what's y sub 1? Minus 1, right? So it becomes y plus 1 equals 3 over 4 x minus, what's x sub 1? 2. Again, this is known as the point slope form. I seen it more than once. They said leave the answer on the point slope form. And if you go and solve it for y, they'll mark it wrong. They want it in this form, so leave it alone. Now, if they said put it in slope-intercept form, that means you're going to solve it for y. 3 over 4x minus 3 times 2, that's what? 6 over 4. Can we simplify 6 over 4? 3 over 2, right? Take the plus 1 to that side. We're going to have what? 3 over 4x minus 3 over 2 minus 1. Yes, the 1 is actually what? 2 over 2?
Yes.
So this becomes 3 over 4x minus what? 5 over 2. And this is the form that's called what? Slope-intercept.
So they don't want any fraction, mixed numbers in the.
Oh, they could.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, they probably leave it like this.
Okay.
Slope-intercept, if you can read that. I don't know if they care, to be honest with you. Doesn't make, like, mixed number does not make it more or better or more simplified than 5 over 2, you know. You couldn't leave it 6 over 4 here, you know, because you have to simplify it. So you can't say that's 10 over 4, that'll mark it wrong, so it has to be 5 over 2. Sometimes they throw a twist at us. Like what?
Here's the slope.
Anyone still writing? I'll do another one, maybe 2 more. On this, find the equation of the line that passes through pick a number, a point,
6 and 7.
7, and parallel to 2x plus 3y equals 5. I'm just making things up. I'm like the computer, random. Whatever comes to my mind.
That's when you know it, Professor.
Probably true. You know why I know it? Probably done maybe 10,000 of these problems.
You don't have to use it for.
Nope. Now the worst part, I know each chapter too. I can tell you what the chapters are. People said, where is the trig? Oh, chapter 10, chapter 20. Where is the conic section? Chapter 21. Where is the log? Oh, chapter 17. You know? Where is inequality? Chapter 13.
We've just done that so many times.
We change the addition every year, but the chapters don't change. Still the same chapter. We just put a different cover on, a picture on the cover, I mean. We charge you another $150 more. Well, not us, but the publisher.
Where can I sell my books?
Beg to differ, the chapter changes.
Past class.
Are you still in the
Okay, finish.
Yeah.
That was before I was born, I think, that edition.
Where's the best place to sell books?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Or half, because if you go to the bookstore, you get $5 for it. The best part actually was spot you put a sign on the bulletin board, approved by student activities. I have a book for sale, somebody will buy it from you. But if you need the money quickly, go on Amazon or go on half.com, which is eBay. Bookstore will give you like $10 for it, $20.
The Maros, you know, Mr. Haddad, when they asked us in 1976 and 72, when I was going to high school, to draw, sketch the graph. But nowadays, the math lab does all the sketching for you.
Well, we still have to know the points, where the points are, and click on them. But you don't connect the line. You don't take a ruler and go straight line. You still got to point where the points are, and it will click. Yep. Find the equation again. Ding, 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 ding. A bell goes on my head. I got to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Do I have a point? Yes. That's my x sub 1. That's my y sub 1. Y minus 7 equals, I don't know what m is, x minus 6. I don't have m.
Use that.
What'd you get? Almost.
Use that formula. Change it back into slope-intercept.
It's parallel, says it's parallel, right? Parallel to this. So if I know the slope of this, I know the slope of my line. How would I find the slope of this?
Minus 2 over 3.
How did you get minus?
Because minus 2x plus 5.
You need to take this and solve it for y first.
Yeah. 3y equal minus 2x. Minus
So you take the 2x to that side, you have 3y equals what? Negative 2x plus the 5.
negative 2 over
And when you to solve it for y, you got to divide both sides by what? By 3. So what's the equation? Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5 over 3. What is my slope? Minus 2 over 3. So that's the slope I have to use here. If the problem says perpendicular instead of parallel, what would you, no, the slope will not be the same.
perpendicular 1 over.
Will be 1 over that number, and a shortcut is really flip this and change the sign. So if that was perpendicular, the slope will be what? Flip this one, that becomes 3 over negative 2, and change the sign, becomes a positive 3 over 2. Because remember, the slope of the second one, if it was perpendicular.
Sorry, Professor, we're going to take this.
Okay. I don't want to do on that sheet of paper. But this, if it was perpendicular, the slope of the second one is going to be minus 1 over the negative 2/3. And notice what happened. Minus 1 divided by negative 2/3. Well, dividing by negative 2/3 is the same as multiplying by what? 3 over negative 2. That's over 1 here. What's minus 1 times 3? Negative 3. What's 1 times a minus 2? 2. What's 3? Become negative. Negative over negative, which is what? Positive. So basically, you flip this one, you change the sign. That's the shortcut. That's what everyone says. Flip and change the sign. If it was perpendicular. So you'll be aware of that. It wasn't here, but if it was, that's what you do. That's the only difference, that number. Now let's multiply it through. And that'll be what? Positive 12 divided by 3. What's 12 divided by 3? 4. Now to solve for y, we add 7 to both sides. Plus what? 11? That's my answer. Every once in a while we'll give you a problem where you can't do it this way. You might have to do like a little massage to the problem. Like what? I'll make that the last one of this section. Find the equation of the line that passes through again, pick a point.
3, 5.
And perpendicular perpendicular to x equals 7.
Great. Wow.
That should be a 30-second problem.
30 seconds.
And when you see it, you go, got you.
Can't do it.
I got to find the slope for this. Good luck. Passes through what point? 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It passes through that point.
It doesn't touch it.
Well, it passes through that. It could be multiple lines, infinite, any direction. But it says perpendicular to x equals to 7. Where is x equals 7? This is x equals to 7. Your line passes through that point perpendicular to that.
Y equals row.
The only way that will happen if the line is this. That's the only way. And what's the name of that?
Y equals something.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. So when they give you like parallel or perpendicular to x equals 7, y equals 3, it might be easier if you just graph it, look at the picture, see what's going on, there's your answer. You don't have to use equations, nothing. If it says parallel, will be up and down, right? Will be x equals to 3. Perpendicular, y equals to 5.